So welcome everyone to our third remote sales live with me, Mia Cash. I'm Overpass's talent advocate manager and Overpass sales manager, Dennis Hamilton, with his plethora of experience in sales from Fortune 500, sales, marketing, anything you want. This guy is your sales guru. So today we are actually talking about how to optimize your Overpass profile, define success on the platform with our clients. So we're really excited to tackle this subject as it is something that contractors ask us about quite a bit. As a quick housekeeping item, we will ask that questions be directed towards the chat or in the Q&A section, and we will have quite a bit of time at the end to answer those. And for those who would like to speak their question at the end, we do limit those questions to 2, just so we can give everyone the chance to ask the question if they have it. So I'm actually excited to run this one kind of in tandem with Dennis, as we both have some experience on the profile and what we're looking for here at Overpass. So let us go ahead and get started. So first, I want to talk about why an optimized profile is so important here on Overpass. One, it helps both the Overpass team and clients find you for positions. We have different search terms. We have an algorithm that can help match you with clients. And our sales team is always looking for the right contractor to fit the client's needs. So number one, that's a huge, huge thing. It also is a chance for you to promote yourself and your abilities. So we always ask contractors, as we'll explain a bit later, to really sell themselves and sell their experience on the profile, because this is basically the first look that either the team or clients have at you and your experience. Next, it really reflects your unique experience. We do specialize in sales, obviously, but our clients come from a vast array of backgrounds and are looking for a vast array of skills. So it is important that you put the complete set of experiences and skills that you have in order to be noticed. Lastly, it establishes your market worth. You are required, as many of you know, to put an hourly rate, and clients offer different rates, commissions, depending on the job and your experience. So it is important that you come out the gate with a good idea of what you're worth and what you're worth to the client. Dennis, anything to add here?
Not a thing.
Perfect. Let's keep going. So basically, today, we want to go through 6 really important aspects of the profile to make sure that it is the best that it can be for the platform. The first thing is a quality photo. The second is a really great voice recording. The third is all of your work experience, and we'll get into that a bit later. Next, availability, very important. Your list of achievements and attributes. And lastly, a competitive hourly rate. So let's go through the first sort of example here of what a quality profile looks like. This is one of the profiles of someone who is currently approved. You can see here that they have 2 languages that they put. They have a really nice picture up here, and their experience is very detailed. They have quotas. They have detailed responsibilities that give you a good idea of what they're doing. Their availability is super reasonable during the week, pretty much all day. They're very open. They have PayPal, very important. And it's very clean. They're not rambling on. Grammatically, it looks correct. This is someone who obviously spent time and care on the profile and really making sure that they're highlighting what their skill set is, which is something that all of our contractors should strive for.
He had a really good mentor, by the way, Mia.
I think he did. I think Dennis, you were the person who may have helped him with this profile.
That's actually my youngest son, for everybody on the web.
Yeah, I don't know if I could say that. I was going to let you say it, Dennis.
No, it's fine. It's good.
Perfect. So first, as everyone knows, this is a beautiful picture of Dennis as an example. But one thing that really is important is that you have a quality photo. In addition to your voice recording, this is one of the few little tools that the team or the client has to see who you are as a person, literally. So please post a professional looking photo. Oh, go ahead, Dennis.
Can I interject just a little bit there?
Of course, of course.
As we're looking for profiles, if we don't see a photo, we will skip your profile.
Yeah.
I mean,
period.
You may not like that fact, but I'm telling you, that's what happens in real life. Back to you, man.
Yes, and all of our talent advocates who are the first people you'll meet in this onboarding process do require a photo before you're even allowed onto the platform. So this is really important as the first step. So one, post a professional looking photo. You don't want to be just in a t-shirt, a bunch of clutter behind you. It's not looking very professional. Um, Sometimes you've had this where people don't post themselves. So they post a cartoon or like a meme, or it's an image that isn't them. That is not a really good look. As Dennis said, we will skip right past your profile if that is the case. And as we mentioned kind of last week and this week, make sure to have a clean background. We don't want to see your messy bed, dirty kitchen in the back. Make sure it's something clean, something where your face can clearly be seen. And lastly, dress up. You don't need to be in a full suit and tie, but you also don't want to have a stained t-shirt on, where you clearly didn't put any thought or care into how you were looking. This is a platform where you will be working with clients, so you definitely want to put your best foot forward, and that really starts with the photo. Dennis, I don't know if you had anything else to add.
No, that's really it. You did a great job. Let's go on to the next
Great.
slide.
All right. Next thing, this is actually super important, is you really need a great voice recording. There is a script that we provide that you go through, and a lot of times, you may sound clear, but clients really want to hear, how are you going to sound over the phone? I would say 90 to 95% of jobs on Overpass require you to be on the phone. So if your recording sounds like you're bored, you don't want to be there, you're not really engaged, clients aren't going to have a lot of confidence that you're going to be the person that can close for them if they hire you for the role. So make sure that even though it is a script, you're engaged with it, you're putting a lot of your personality into it, because this is the first thing clients hear and our team hears when they're considering your profile. So you have a million chances to
Also,
re-record. Yep.
from a client perspective, they'll just see that you have a photo and they'll go straight to that voice recording before they ever look at your work experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So re-record as many times as possible to make sure you sound great for the client. The next thing is to record in other languages. Plenty of our clients love that we have contractors who are bilingual or even trilingual. So definitely, if you speak Spanish, French, another language besides English, that you definitely record that as well. We do ask you to translate the script in real time. So some people are a little confused by that. We want to make sure you actually speak the language. So we do ask you to translate in real time. And we do require English fluency. So if you're not a native English speaker, fine, but we do require English fluency. But clients do love bilingual or trilingual contractors. So definitely showcase that skill set in the recording. Lastly, this is pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised how many contractors have this issue. Don't have a lot of background noise. Whether that's a rooster crowing, whether that's someone yelling, whether that's the TV, just have it be quiet so you can really hear your voice, and make sure your voice sounds okay, like the connection isn't off, that your voice isn't garbled. Just make sure that when you listen to it, that you're proud of what you're saying, how you're saying it, and that you'd be happy if a client were to listen to it.
I don't think we have any limit on the times they can re-record that message, right?
No, as many times as you would like. So definitely take the time to re-record, listen to it, really figure out those areas where you can improve, and make sure you're putting your best foot forward. Next one, number 3. So this is a good meaty one that Dennis, I'm sure, will have a lot of insight on for the client side, but the work experience, obviously, probably the most important thing. This is what our platform is all about. So list your relevant sales experience first. A lot of contractors will want to go in order of like time, like when they were doing
Chronological.
something, they'll start with, there we go. Thank you for the word there. They'll want to start, what they first did or whatever. But please list the sales experience first. Clients, when they're glancing at it, they're not going to want to scroll to find the one time you were a sales manager. That's something that you would want to put first thing. So please, please, please list your sales experience first. At this time, we're not able to, reorder things. So definitely really think about, what sales experience should I highlight that will immediately catch a client's eye? Don't leave it towards the end. Very, very important. Next thing that maybe isn't super clear or as intuitive, but make sure you include all of your work experience, even if it isn't in sales. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, if you have any, large gaps in employment where you weren't in sales, that can help explain that. Like, I was an AE here, but then a few years later, I was working in operations at this other company. So it can help kind of give some career continuity. Additionally, even if you weren't in sales, you may have worked in an industry that a client is looking for expertise in. So if you were in the restaurant industry or jewelry, we've had the clients who are in that, where you weren't in sales, but you're familiar with the industry, that can be really helpful to clients looking for their next contractor. So don't be scared. It's like, oh, I didn't do sales. You may be in the right industry for a client, and it may help kind of give your timeline and experience a bit of continuity. So that is another important point. This is super important, guys, because the TAs, my team, we tell contractors this all the time in our initial call. Be very specific and descriptive in your work experience. So what were you selling? What were your specific responsibilities? Were you leading a team? What were your quotas? Quotas are huge. If you're the person who you only had to make one sale a week, that is very different than someone who had to make 5 sales a day. So clients also put quotas, or right, Dennis, I'm saying that.
Correct.
They also put quotas in their job descriptions. So you are giving them that information that they can then use to compare how you would be for that role. So quotas are very, very important, and detail is super duper important. And you need to sell yourself. I think the biggest thing that I see, even if people have a lot of descriptions of what they're doing, is that there's not a lot of like action verbs or what they were doing. It's more like, this company did this, and this is the quota I had to hit. It wasn't like, I was responsible for this. I led a team that did this. Here was what the requirements were. So sell yourself. We're in sales. This is something that is super important to clients. So definitely brag. What were you good at? And what were your accomplishments while you were there? Dennis, I don't know if there's anything else clients or the team is thinking about here.
If we have a hard to place position, which is usually our highest paid ones, just so you know, I have 10 account executives on my team. They may look at like 50 profiles to find 5. So if you're not in the top 10% of great profiles, you are never going to get invited to that interview. And like my son, we saw his profile earlier, right, Cody? He's got listed on there, he used to run nightclubs. And you would go, why would you ever list that you used to run nightclubs on a sales platform? We have 2 or 3 clients that sell point of sale systems for nightclubs. And if that information's not there, we'll just move to the next profile, because we've got to find the best talent for that client in what we can see, which is what you put up. We've got to find the best talent we can. And guys, from the time that a client posts a job, it's 3 to 5 business days and you're hired. It's very fast. I think that's all I had on that. Anything else, Mia?
No, just please spend a lot of time on this. It is an area that we find lacking in the majority of initial profiles. So really take the time to put your best foot forward here, as this is the meat of your profile and what clients really looking for. So happy to answer. Oh, go ahead.
If we see a job gap, we'll go to the next profile. If you don't have a picture, we'll go to the next profile. If you listen to your voice recording, we'll listen to the first 10 seconds, most crucial. If it's not laid down perfectly, we'll go to the next profile.
Yep.
Because our job on the account executive side, we represent the client. And we love you guys, but me represents you guys. I represent the client. So you won't ever get the opportunity to take an interview, even if you're a perfect fit for that job. We'll just keep going.
Yeah.
So unless you do your homework, we don't have any way to really find what talent set you have. Does that make sense?
And the great thing is too, the TA team, my team, as Dennis said, we are for you guys. So even before you're, being seen by our team or the clients, we are helping you get to this stage. So even if your profile isn't exactly perfect when you submit it, the TA team is here for you to make sure that you are well prepared to be successful. So don't be too scared.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, don't let me be too intimidating. I'm just giving you the real life story, right?
No, it's great. Um, Availability. This is actually a pretty key one too that I think a lot of contractors don't realize. So first, logistically, list availability in your time zone. It'll automatically be calculated to whatever time zone the person who is viewing your profile is. So if you're in South Africa, just put the time that you're free in South Africa. And if someone in the US is looking at your profile, they will see the availability in their time. So don't worry too much about calculating it. Just do it for your time zone and it will automatically adjust. But importantly, include all the time you're willing to work. So don't give Monday through Wednesday from 11 to 1 p.m. That's just not going to work. We do have part-time jobs. We do have, I know Dennis, I'm going to let him discuss that because I'm sure he's seen a lot of it. There are part-time roles, so it's not as if each client is asking for a 40-hour work week, but you do need to make sure that you are listing all the time you are willing and available to work, and not just like, oh yeah, it would be great if I could just work in the mornings. It's just not going to work. The more available you are, the more likely you are to find a contract, period. Dennis, I can let you kind of speak to that, as I'm sure you've seen this when looking for contractors.
I've actually been in interviews and we don't really pay a lot of attention to this when we're looking for profiles. We're trying to find the best people. And then we'll be in an interview and a contractor will go, well, I can't work Saturdays, Sundays, the afternoons. All I can work is from 8 to 11 in the morning. And I immediately interject in the interview block and go, I appreciate your effort, appreciate you being here, and I wish you the best. We're going to move on to the next interviewee, and thank you for showing up. You're never getting that job.
Yep.
And I don't mean to sound harsh about that, but that's just the truth of how we work on my side of the table. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Makes a ton of sense. And we tell you that as well in our TA interview. If you only have 3 days, 2 hours a day, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. So make sure that you are putting all of the time that you're available. It'll really help your chances.
Oh, let me interject one more thing there.
Yes. Yes.
If you post that you only have availability for like 6, 8, 10 hours a week, if a client tells me that they only want 10 hours a week, I won't let them post a job.
Mm.
So the minimum requirement to get on the platform is 20 hours a week. So if you can't give us 20 hours a week, that's okay. There's no harm, no foul, but we'll just keep moving past to the next profile.
Yep. Great point. Thank you, Dennis. This is more of a fun one, achievements and attributes. In a similar vein to the responsibilities, brag on yourself a bit. What were you complimented on? Were you in the top 10% of the salesmen on your team? Did you win any awards, salesperson of the month, things like that? Or education too. Did you get a master's, or did you go to school for, a certain thing? Did you take a course in a specific sales related field that really helped you in your career? This is an area I think contractors don't maybe focus on because, there are a lot of components to the profile, but it is really great to see that not only do you have the sales experience, but you were very successful in that sales experience. And I think clients just like to see that they're hiring the best of the best. And that is one way that you can demonstrate that. Didn't know if you had anything else there to add, Dennis.
No, you're perfect.
Yeah. Awesome.
The next one's super important. The next one's super important.
Yes. And I'm sure we'll get a lot of questions about this. So I'll take my time on this one, and we'll definitely spend some time on this. You are competing for a contract. This is a marketplace. So clients, of course, in their job posts, they give what they're willing to pay, but they like to go for someone who may not be asking as much. So you are competing for a contract. This is a competitive marketplace. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about your hourly rate. And important, make sure your rate is in line with the position and your experience. Okay. So an appointment setter with 1 year of experience should not be asking the same as an account executive with 10 years of experience. I will say, for hard numbers, because I'm sure we'll be asked that, we have everything from $5 an hour to $30 an hour. We tell contractors if you're above $30 an hour, you're not going to be looked at. And if you're wanting to make more in your base, plenty of our clients offer commission structure where you'll be able to meet, double that 30 or whatever, no problem. So if you're worried, like I'm not getting paid what I'm worth, then look at the commission structure, because that is usually where you're going to make up a lot of that extra money. So you are able to filter by that in the job post. But yes, do not ask for a ton of money upfront if it is not in line with either the position or your experience, because you will not be looked at. And most likely the client will go with someone who is not asking for as much. That's my biggest thing. Just be cognizant of that.
Can you expand on that?
Please, Dennis, expand.
I train this every morning. I train the AEs every morning. And one thing I'm adamant about, if we ever have an interview and that contractor seems like they're more interested in hourly rate than they are commission, you're never getting hired. Hard truth, but truth. If you ever flag in an interview, like I've literally been in interviews and they're like, well, I need at least $15 an hour to start. And I'm looking at the contract going, oh my God, that commission plan is excellent. That's amazing. Like they're paying a ton of commission. No, I need this to start. Moving on.
This is sales, guys.
It's sales. I mean, that's what we do, guys. It's sales and marketing. I work on commission, right? More than half my check is commission every month.
Yeah.
And you want to look at opportunities that can double your base rate. That's a really good rule of thumb for contractors. Like if they're offering me 11, and you need to judge on what you think your skill set is and your experience is. But I'm like, if they offer you 11, you need to be able to make 22. If they're offering you 30, you need to be able to make 60. And you need to understand the product enough to where you're confident you can make double the base rate. That's a good contract.
Yep. And I will say, in talking with contractors, in comparison to other platforms, contractors are able to do very well here. Clients pay well, and we definitely hear that as like Overpass is definitely a place where I can make money because the hourly rates are very reasonable plus commission. So I don't think anyone needs to be afraid of I'm not going to get enough, because that's usually never the case. But you just need to be cognizant of what we're talking about, was like make sure you're looking at the position, what it's asking, and make sure you're understanding how your experience fits into your hourly rate. So that's
one
my
more
last
thing
point
on
on
this
that.
topic, because it is pretty important. We actually hit dollar bands in our search engine to look for profiles. So let's say you're looking for a business development rep position. We're going to tell the client, you could probably get that for 10 to 12 bucks an hour and double the pay with commissions. You know how much do you make on each widget you sell? Great. You don't want to go over 20% of gross, including the hourly wage. So if you're paying 11, they need the opportunity to make 22, but then that tells you how many they need to sell units a month to make this work. That's what happens before you ever get on the interview. So if you jump on an interview and going, well, I need more commission. That's the commission plan. I need more of an hourly rate. That's the hourly rate. And we have some very generous clients that sometimes I'll talk to and I'm like, are you sure you're okay with that? You're comfortable? Okay. It's your business, not mine. And we have some contractors that knock it out of the park, right, man?
Oh, absolutely. And they have long-term relationships with clients who just like them so much that they keep them on. So that is definitely an option. If you're looking to do this full time, we have plenty of contractors who do that and have found success. So next steps, as anyone going forward who is thinking of applying or has been approved but is looking for ways to really get noticed, here's what we really need to think about. Post a quality photo, look professional, no messy background, dress up. Make sure your recording sounds professional. You can re-record as many times as you would like, and make sure to add other languages if you can. List all of your work experience, starting with first your relevant sales experience and then any other experience, so clients can get understanding of any career gaps or different industries you have experience in. Availability, super important. Give all the time that you're available to work in your time zone, which will automatically be adjusted. List your achievements, make sure to brag on yourself, salesperson of the month, etc. And lastly, as we just spoke about, decide on your hourly rate and really think about it. Know that you are competing with others, that there is commission, but make sure that your hourly rate is requisite with both the position and your experience. And with that, we are done with the initial presentation, and Dennis and I are happy to answer any questions you all have about this.
I bet we have a couple on this one.
I'm sure we have a couple. So I am actually going to stop my screen so you can see our lovely faces, and we can go through.
Holy shores.
And thanks, Dennis. I think you make a good team of beautiful faces. So again, if you want to pop a question in the chat or the Q&A, we'll go through them one by one. So I see we have a couple, oh, these aren't questions, but they're just a couple of comments in the chat. Nancy says, a spell check feature on the intro section when you're applying for jobs would be great. That's actually a really good point, Nancy. I can bring that up with our product team, because that is something where, you know, you want to make sure that everything looks right. So I will make a note of that.
You can actually set that in your computer as well, and you don't need us to do it.
Perfect.
So if you have spell check enabling your computer, it'll automatically spell check. And for those of us that are bilingual, that's a shocker to some of you. I'm actually bilingual. Who would have thought? Anyway, my wife actually doesn't speak English. But anyway, back to the point. There's actually a bilingual spell checker that you can put on Chrome, Safari, and Bing, all three. That's a bilingual spell checker in case you're bilingual. That'll check both languages. It'll identify it and it'll flag that. And we would have no reason to put that functionality into the platform because it already exists in your browser.
Perfect. Yeah, people put Grammarly. Grammarly's a great one.
Yeah.
Kevin asks, would there be a possibility to have a TA have a one-on-one with me to have feedback on my profile? Absolutely, Kevin. That's what we're here for. What I'll do is I'll send you a booking link privately, and you can just book time with one of us to go over your profile. So I'll make sure to send that in a moment after we're done with questions. I think we have a Q&A here. Michelle asks, where do we go to apply and update our profile? So I can give you the link. Have you already made, I think I'm gonna need to let her talk on this one, because I don't know if she's made a profile already.
The meeting, because I'm not sure what she was saying.
Yeah, let me go ahead and ask her to speak. Give me 1 second, Michelle. We'll give you time to speak. Okay, Michelle, you can go ahead and talk. You can go off mute and ask your question.
I'm just not certain. I know I put in a resume and I was invited to this session, but I haven't given my full profile, including a picture and, you know, my voice recognition and the things that you're referring to. So where do I go to do that?
Okay, so it sounds like you just need to log back into your profile and then make those updates. So I'll just give you, if you just go to overpass.com and then you can go to log in, you should be able to log back into your profile, and I can just give you that link and message it to you so you can do that.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Let's see. We have a couple other Q&A questions. Oh, this is actually a good question from Archant. Dennis, we know Archant.
Yeah, we did.
What's the advantage if you're chosen as one of the contractors in our Contractor Spotlight program? Archant, that's actually a great question. It's something we need to think more about, but for those of you who don't know and aren't part of our Facebook group, we have a Contractor Spotlight program where we highlight contractors who have found success on Overpass, are really engaged, and we share them with our Overpass community. Archant, usually the biggest benefit of that is that you'll probably be noticed and will probably be top of the list for the sales team if they're looking for someone. So given that your name has come up a lot, Dennis, I think you can attest to this for something. So if you know you've demonstrated you're engaged, and you really want to succeed on Overpass, that is a way to kind of get noticed and kind of get that first step forward.
And I'd like to speak to Archant specifically. Archant's younger. She doesn't have a ton of sales experience, but oh my God, does she have ambition? And we smell that 100 miles away. We're like, okay, she wants to work. Let's get her on a contract. Your passion level and your recording and your interview and everything else sometimes plays better than your experience. Because if we get somebody with 20 years experience and they're really bland on the interview, you're not going to get the job offer. So thank you, Archant, for being so motivated.
Awesome, thank you. And then the next question I believe we had in the chat. Oh, Karen asked Dennis, do you mind repeating the name of the bilingual spell check? Or I can put it in the chat.
It's a little globe at the bottom of the browser. And so if you go into your settings and whatever browser you're using and look for spell check, there will be an option in your settings in that spell check for multilingual. And so like I'm fluent in Spanish, not that you would know because I'm an absolute redneck from Southwest Missouri, but I actually have less of an accent in Spanish than I do in English. So I use a bilingual spell check and everything because I switch languages all day long. So you go to settings, keyboard settings, spell check, and then you select English, Spanish, English, Hindu, English, whatever, Farsi. And then it'll just like bilingual spell check every document you make, and your browser will recognize what language you're typing in.
So, thanks, Dennis. Desiree asks, are all the clients US based and time in the US time zones? I would say 99% of them are. Correct, Dennis? I don't think we have any international. Yep. So yeah. So generally Eastern US time zone is what our clients are working in.
To Pacific. I mean, we do all 4 time zones in the US. Those are also the time zones in Canada, but that is literally 99% of our client base is US and Canada. So it's from EST to PST?
I think it is PST, California.
PST.
Yeah.
PST to PST.
Yep. Ellen asks, can I work as a contractor full term on Overpass? Yes, we actually would love that. I think our most successful contractors do Overpass full time. So there are plenty of opportunities to do this remote work full time, and we encourage it actually. So if you haven't signed up, do so.
So let's just do full disclosure there. You're an employee of Overpass, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I am an employee of Overpass.
I'm a contractor. So
Dennis is a contractor.
It's worth a full-time gig. I run the entire sales department for Overpass, and I live in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And I would never be an employee again in my life.
Yep.
Because this is the lifestyle I've chosen, and it works really well for my lifestyle. So even, I always love mentioning that. I'm like, because I'll tell a client that they're like, no, you're not a contractor. Yeah, I am.
Like, and
yeah,
you
really
joined, Dennis, remind me when you joined, because you didn't join that long before me, did you? That last year?
Maybe 16 months ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Right in there.
Yep. Success story right here, everyone.
Don't compliment me because my head gets really big.
Too much, just too much.
Yeah, too much for me to take.
Great. I think I went through all of our questions so far. Does anyone else have a question? We do have plenty of time just about the profile, signing up. What are clients thinking? What are AEs thinking? We're here to answer anything, even if it's not profile related. Happy to answer just general questions as well. Oh,
Not as many questions this week.
not as many questions this week. I guess we just did such a fantastic job explaining that we just wowed everyone, and there will never be any questions ever again.
I doubt it.
No, I doubt it.
Maybe not in my email, but they'll be in yours.
Awesome. Okay, so I think I'll give them just another minute in case someone's typing something.
You bet.
But oh, here we go. Here's one. Oh, so Michelle asked again, will you get back to us to let us know what we need to complete the process? Yes, so Michelle, actually, I will go ahead and email you, just we're not keeping people on the call. I will email you the links. You can log back into your profile. As soon as your profile goes from draft to ready to review, you'll be hearing from someone from my team within the next 2 to 3 business days for next steps. You'll meet with one of the TAs to optimize your profile like we just talked about. We have a training and then you can get started on the platform. So I will definitely go ahead and email you that after this. Cool. Oh, you're welcome, Ashley. Thank you. Again, this recording will be sent to you all. We are also uploading it to the website, and we have one next week. Dennis, did you want to give them a teaser on next week, or are we going to keep it a surprise?
Next week, we're going to talk about the physical interview.
Yes. Oh, super important. Super duper important. So,
and we're also going to talk about how to lean on our team to make sure you're ready for that interview.
Yep. Yeah, interviewing super important, not just for Overpass, but in life. So that'll be very informative. And I think we'll have a lot of good questions there as well. So
I'm actually going to throw somebody on for a role play next week. It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
It'll be different.
that'll be great. So you can kind of switch it up a bit. I'm sure y'all are sick of hearing us at this point. So we'll introduce some new blood. Awesome. Well, again, thank you all for coming. We'll send out this information in a couple of days, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Invite your friends. Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.